You ever feel like you're just scratching the surface on what AI can do for you? You're getting back boring and generic answers, and it's getting a bit frustrating to use? Does that sound familiar? What if I told you that there's a hidden framework behind these services? And by the way, you can't turn these on or off yourself. The model is going to make that determination for you. These frameworks literally will shape the way that you engage with these tools. Welcome to the Interaction Maturity Model, or IMM. It's an AI concept that can literally take your engagement from being very basic and generic to amazing, and it's no joke. And today we're going to discuss that in detail here in this episode. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So what's this interaction maturity model all about anyways? Think of it as a roadmap that defines 5 levels of interaction that people can have with these AI tools. Each level represents a different mindset, ranging from very basic and generic engagements to very complex designs and governance engagements. Understanding this model is key because it reveals the hidden dynamics of AI that can help in elevating your interaction outcomes when working with these tools. All right, ready? Let's break down the 5 levels of the interaction maturity model, starting with level 1, which is called the output consumer. Most people at this level are just looking for very quick and generic answers. Think of it, for example, as a student looking for an answer to a quiz. They're not looking for a whole lot of interaction or refinement from the teacher. Most people are at this level with AI, and unfortunately, it prevents them from being able to unlock the full potential of what AI has to offer them. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate and show you 5 videos that represents the interaction at each of these levels. Starting with level 1, go ahead and watch this and look at the way these two people are interacting with each other.
Should I take this opportunity?
Here are the pros and cons.
Yeah.
It depends on your goals. Consider compensation, growth, and work-life balance.
See how they interacted? Heard how they talked with each other? It was very simple, generic, and non-committal. All right, level 2, this is called the assisted thinker. Here's where people are starting to look for validation for their ideas. Similar, for example, to an artist looking for validation for their work. What do you think? Can you improve upon this? At this level, you're starting to see some iteration and deeper interaction with people in the AI, but they haven't quite embraced the power of iteration yet. Let's go ahead and watch the interaction between these two people over here. And again, watch for the differences between level 1 and now into level 2.
Should I take this opportunity? Here's some context.
Yeah. Based on what you shared, it sounds promising, but you may want to consider X risks. What matters most to you?
Notice the difference? You are seeing some improvements over here with the interaction between these two people, but there's still very heavy validation going on. All right, level 3, and this is called the iterative operator. This is where things get really fun and gets real. You will feel it when you actually hit this level. Think of it, for example, as a scientist interacting with another partner. You'll be sharing your research, your hypothesis, your thoughts, your fears, your concerns. And in turn, you'll be getting direct interaction, hypothesis being tested, notes, questions that will be coming back from the AI. This marks a very significant step forward in your interaction with AI and a shift towards taking ownership and, of course, engagement through iteration. Let's go ahead and watch the video here. And again, watch very closely how these two interact and see the differences.
Should I take this opportunity?
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning. Yeah.
Your logic assumes stability will follow. That may not be true. What's the downside if this fails? What's your runway?
See how the challenging is going on between these two? Did you notice it? Level 4, which is called co-steward. And by the way, this is a very rare level to be at, and you will notice a difference between level 3 and now even level 4. The reason for that is because the system now prioritizes decision quality over personal comfort. So think, for example, of working with a team leader. You've been working on a project for a long period of time, collecting all this project information, presenting it to your team leader, and you may have a very difficult and uncomfortable conversation with this person. No difference than what you would actually experience with the AI. The AI now prioritizes system logic and is now taking into consideration the broader implications of decisions being made. Let's go ahead and now watch the video on the interaction between these two people. pay special attention to how they're interacting and what the language now has turned into.
Should I take this opportunity?
Let's define the decision criteria first. What problem are you actually solving? Income volatility, identity restoration? What would make this a mistake? What's the regret minimization frame over 5 years?
What you're now seeing here is questioning happening, not advice. A decision is being made. The system is now really starting to dig in at level 4, much like the challenging that a human would. All right, we're finally at the top of this. Level 5, which is labeled the architect. Users at this level design interactions similar to an architect. An architect puts together a blueprint, creates reusable patterns, teaches these patterns to others, has them apply it to actually build their buildings or their designs. This is a very, very complex level of interaction that you'll have and experience with the AI. Let's go ahead and watch the video interaction with the 2 users at this level. And again, watch what the final interaction looks like and see if you can spot the differences.
Should I take this opportunity?
No.
Yeah.
This isn't about this opportunity. It's about the system you're building for the next chapter. What form of leverage do you want to own?
Yeah.
How does this choice compound? If your kids studied this decision later, what lesson would it encode?
Spot the differences again? Now the conversation is transcending the decision. The conversations have become much deeper and much more fulfilling. Phew! To wrap this up, if there's anything that all of you got out of this, is the interaction maturity model is a very powerful framework that's provided by AI. It can fundamentally flip your interactions, your engagements, and your output. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, this feature and these levels are not turned on manually through a switch or through a subscription. It's actually done by the system and the model. It determines when you move up each one of these levels. But that only comes through rich and constant engagement that you have with the AI model. At the very end of all this, as you start moving through these models, you will not only feel it, you'll see it, sense it, but you'll be far more fulfilled as you begin working with AI and seeing its output and productivity back at you. But as always, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate it. I hope you got something out of this. This was an extremely interesting learning for me as well as I began to discover and understand what these levels meant. But I look forward to seeing all of you in my next episode. And as always, mahalo.